Hey, good morning, everyone. I first want to extend the condolences of the entire Prince George's County Police Department to the Metropolitan Police Department on their loss. That's very, very tragic and senseless. What we know, last night at approximately 8 p.m. on Green Moss Drive in Upper Marlboro, off-duty MPD Detective Joseph Newell, 46 years old, was shot and killed by his 27-year-old stepson, Antoine Rayvon James. And I think we have pictures of him to distribute this morning. The dispute in this matter was simply over yard work. Off-duty Detective Newell asked his 27-year-old stepson to simply give him a hand with some yard work. The shooter in this case, the stepson, James, didn't like it and shot and killed his stepfather. It's simple and as tragic as that. James fled on foot, we believe. He fled on foot with his firearm that he used to kill his stepfather. The firearm that was used to kill Detective Newell was not his service weapon. We're still looking for James. He is currently at large. We assume he is still armed, and we believe that one or more people in the community know where James is right now, and we need their help. Crime Solvers is 1-866-411-TIPS, and we urge anyone who may be harboring this person, who may know where he is, who may know what direction to point us to contact the PGPD. We need to get James off the street. I'll turn it over to Assistant Chief Newsham from the Metropolitan Police Department for a few remarks, and then both Assistant Chief Newsham and I will take questions. Thank you.
Okay, good morning. Just here to announce the passing of one of our detectives, Detective Joseph Newell. He was a husband, he was a father, he was a son. Obviously, he was a member of the Metropolitan Police Department. I want to extend condolences to Bernadette, his wife, his entire family, his extended family at the Metropolitan Police Department. And I want to thank the Prince George's County Police Department. It was really last night when we went out to the scene, it was incredible, the response that I saw from Chief Davis, Chief McGaw, and the rest of his people in assisting us with this case. We have every confidence that they're going to be able to end this thing successfully. And like Chief Davis said, if James is listening, the best thing that he can do is to turn himself in. So thank you.
We've chatted before. You said you knew Detective well.
I did. I knew Joseph very well. Actually, when I was a little bit younger and probably weighed a little bit less, we used to play basketball together. He worked in one of our more challenging districts. He had some of the tougher assignments over there. He investigated our assaults with a dangerous weapon, our AWICs. An excellent detective, a good friend, 46-year-old. Like I said, he was a father, a husband, a son, and there's a lot of people at the Metropolitan Police Department that were out on the scene last night that are upset by this. One thing that I would ask from the media, if you could probably at least extend some courtesy to the family during this difficult time. You know, to the extent that they want to speak with you, they can. But sometimes, you know, if you go out there and you're disturbing the family at this time, it's probably the last thing that they want to be involved in. So.
Do you know how many children he had?
The children that were involved in this incident were stepchildren. I know that he has 2 daughters. I know of 2 daughters that he has.
Are they grown?
They're teenage daughters.
Does the stepson live at the home, Antoine?
I don't want to get into any details about that might impact the case, so I'm going to let the Prince George's County Police Department answer those questions.
Chief,
I could answer that question first. James is 27. He's a stepson. He lives at the home, we believe, with his biological brothers and his biological sister. So his biological brothers are 21 and 17. They live at the home with James, who's 27, and the teenage girl who lives at the home is 16 years old, I believe. A little bit more about James, and I think you already have this, so we're just going to talk about it right now. James was recently, within the last year and a half or so, fired from his position with the D.C. Fire Department. So he's been living for some time now with his biological mother and his stepfather, Detective Newell. I've already mentioned that the firearm used is not Detective Newell's service weapon. This entire murder was captured on surveillance videotape. We are not releasing that under any circumstances. It's evidence in the upcoming first-degree murder trial that will take place after we apprehend James, and it will not be released until then.
Kevin, did this murder happen outside or inside the house?
It happened right outside the garage. Detective Newell was simply screwing in a light bulb over top of the garage. He was on a step ladder. Our shooter, James, approached Detective Newell from behind, shot him in the back one time. Detective Newell fell to the driveway, and James stood over top of him and fired several rounds into his body.
This was premeditated.
It was an execution.
And this was a situation, as I've been told, that unprovoked, and also he was completely caught off guard. I mean, he had no idea that he was even coming up behind him to shoot him, and just completely unaware of what
Right. We know of no provocation beyond Detective Newell simply asking James to give him a hand with the yard work.
Any idea where this gun came from? Was it possibly owned by the officer and kept in the home, or was this something you think he got elsewhere? And did you recover the weapon?
The murder weapon has not been recovered, and I'll only describe it as a handgun.
Chief, do you believe he's on
Bruce,
foot, Kevin?
can I get Bruce real quick, and then Paul?
What do you know about where James might be? Do you suspect that he's still in Prince George's County? Do you have any evidence to believe that he's fled beyond the confines of Prince George's County? Anything like that?
We believe he's probably still in the area. He knows several people. He's from here. That's why we really need some folks to come forward. If you know where he may be, if you think you know where he may be, call 1-866-411-TIPS, and we'll run it down. We have a fugitive task force with MPD detectives, Prince George's County detectives, and the U.S. Marshal Service who are out looking for James right now.
Do you know why he was fired from the fire department?
No.
Can you run through the chronology of this a little more? I mean, last night there was a barricade that was surrounding the home.
The
shot, what happened?
The barricade occurred when one of our Prince George's County paramedics saw what he believed to be movement inside of a home that we had already gotten the family out of. So that movement concerned us. We thought that James may still be inside the house, and the barricade was called. Our conflict management team responded, and they eventually entered the house, cleared the house. We don't believe that James was ever inside the house. There was an oscillating fan in one of the rooms, and that moved the curtains and blinds, and it gave the appearance that someone may have been inside. But in fact, we believe James fled on foot right away.
And at that point, is the father already transferred to the hospital, or was already still there when
Detective Newell was shot and killed on the scene. He was pronounced dead in the driveway.
So what
Darcy.
can you tell us about the surveillance? Is this something that the officer had set up in and around his home for protection, or was this like a neighbor?
It was surveillance video that belonged to a neighbor. I'll say that. It was not Detective Newell's video surveillance, but it captured the entire incident, and we're confident that we have overwhelming evidence to successfully prosecute James after we capture him for this horrendous, premeditated first-degree murder.
The warrant, I assume, is targeting the first-degree murder?
Yes, we believe it was premeditated.
Is there any history of any kind of like domestic calls at the house?
I'm not aware of any history at the house. I do know that James has a criminal history to include assault charges and other minor charges.
Can you tell us, apparently he had been in jail at some point, and I couldn't tell like when he got out, or was he currently being sought?
He has an open arrest warrant that was sworn out on March 16th of 2013 for an assault of some type. I'm not sure where that assault occurred in Prince George's County. I know it's a Prince George's County warrant. I'm otherwise unfamiliar with the circumstances. So James now has 2 warrants outstanding for his arrest, first-degree murder and the March 16th outstanding assault warrant as well.
Was he being, with the correct terminology, was he wanted, basically?
He was wanted.
Okay, because he gave a different address than this home.
Right. I'm unaware of his other addresses.
Okay, but he was being sought on this other arrest warrant at the time.
A warrant existed for his arrest.